What's going on, guys? My name is Israel. Welcome to another new video. If this is your first time here and you want to learn all the ins and outs of real estate, start now by hitting that subscribe button as well as that little bell icon. Okay, today we're going to be covering closing costs. What are closing costs? What do they cover? Well, that's what we're going to be talking about today, and we're going to start right now. Okay guys, before I get started, I just wanted to let you know that this is going to be a part of a series of videos that are going to be covering everything that has to do when buying a home. Now, a lot of these you've probably heard of, but never really taken a deep dive into seeing what they are, or let alone what the fees are on these. And so to get started, we're going to be covering what we call a closing disclosure. Now, this is on a recent transaction that we recently closed. I keep saying recently, sorry guys. But so to get started, I'm gonna go through, basically set up the basics of what this transaction involved. So we have a single family residence that sold for $473,000. There was a down payment of $16,555. Now I'm gonna pause here. This client ended up using what we call an FHA loan. And under an FHA loan, it allows you to start putting a down payment of 3.5%. Now that's great because versus a conventional loan, their down payment always tends to be a little bit higher. So one of the pros of going FHA, it allows you to come in with a lower down payment. Okay, so if we take $473,000 minus the down payment, $16,555, that should give us a loan of $456,445. But wait, there's more. There's an upfront mortgage insurance fee. Now, every time you get an FHA, you are going to be tagged with this fee, and that fee is going to be $7,987.78. This particular fee, you can either choose to pay it up front, which not a lot of us do. 99% of the people decide to just put it on top of the loan, add it onto the loan. So this was the case with this client, and so by adding the $7,987 with 78 cents, it gave us a total loan amount of $464,000 with $432.78. Now, the upfront mortgage insurance, we're going to be talking about it a little further on this video, so just remember that fee. Okay, so now we're going to be talking about the fees, and I've broken them down into 5 different blocks. The first block is going to be your loan charges, followed by the second block, your escrow and title fees. The third block is going to be your prepaid fees. The fourth block is going to be your impound fees, and the last block, which is your miscellaneous fees. Okay, so let's get started with the first block. We have an origination fee, followed by a processing fee, and lastly, an underwriting fee. Now, you'll see the figures on the graphic here on my side, but whenever you're shopping for a loan, these are the fees that you want to, ask your lender what they are. A lot of lenders tend to kind of hover around the same fees, but again, you always want to shop around. I always tell my clients, ask these questions. They're very, very, very important questions, and you'll be surprised. Sometimes these fees might be a little different from, the lender that you're working with currently. Okay, moving down here, we have the appraisal fee and your credit report fee. Now, these are the fees that usually you have to pay up front, especially the appraisal fee. It's not one thing you can say, just put it on the loan. No, that's one fee you have to come out of pocket before anything gets started, as well as your credit report. Now, as you see here, it says upfront mortgage insurance, $7,987 plus 78 cents. That's the fee we talked about at the beginning. That fee you don't have to pay. It basically goes as part of your loan. I mean, you do pay it, but it gets attached to the loan. You don't have to pay it as part of your closing costs. That's what I meant to say. Okay, now we're going to move on to block number 2, which is all your escrow and title fees. And you basically have your endorsements, your lender title insurance, your messenger fee, your sub-escrow fee, your wire transfer fee. Now, these basically, I'll explain them to you really quick. Your lender's title insurance, it basically what it means is that you're paying title for them to research the title of the person that's going to be selling you the home, because they just want to make sure that there's not another owner on title, or there's liens attached to it. So they really want to make sure that none of that stuff is going to come to bite them in the future. So that's basically what the lender's title insurance does. All the other fees, pretty self-explanatory. You have a messenger fee, you have a sub-escrow fee. Sub-escrow fee, if there's any additional tasks that they have to do, that's basically what that covers. The wire transfer at the end of the transaction, when the lender is ready to close and it's ready to pay the seller's bank, hence the wire fee. They need to send that wire to the seller to pay off whatever balance the sale of that price was. Okay, and now we're going to move on to the escrow fees. You have your notary fee, your drawing grand deed, your loan tie-in fee, your messenger fee, processing demands, and settlement fees. The big one here is a settlement fee, which is basically what the escrow company charges. In this case, it was $1,719. What I've seen from my experience, escrows, they tend to, again, you'll probably find different prices, but they're not going to be huge differences. They'll stay within the $100, $200 difference, if that. The loan tie-in fee, the $250 fee, basically what that means is, again, if there's an additional task that the escrow has to do that has to do with the loan, well, the loan tie-in fee will cover that. Now, as you can see, escrow and title, at least here in California, it usually tends to be split between buyer and seller. So buyer will cover half and the seller will cover the other half. And so that's why you have this breakdown of borrower paid and seller paid. So that's going to be block number 2. Now we're going to be moving on to block number 3, which is your prepaid fees. Now, prepaid fees, I like to explain them this way with my clients. I usually tell them, look, prepaid fees, basically what they mean is that the bank always wants to make sure that, for instance, your homeowner's insurance, as you can see there, it says 12 months to farmer's insurance for the amount of $672. They just want to make sure that if the house burns down, they basically got the insurance already covered for the next 12 months. I mean, it basically means that the bank always wants to play it safe, and so that's why they'll ask for those fees to be paid up front. The next one is going to be your prepaid interest. Now, I'm going to be, as part of the series, like I told you guys, I'm going to be talking to you guys about the differences between closing early or closing late in the month, because there is a huge difference. In this scenario, these particular prepaid interest of $65.21 per day amounted to 29 days. Yep, 29 days, which basically, if you take 65.21 times 29 days, it gives you $1891.09. Now, there's pros and cons if you were to close early versus if you were to close towards the end of the month. Again, I'm going to go into more depth into that on a video that I'm putting together. You'll probably see it right over here as a link. But to summarize it, if you close your transaction, let's say at the beginning of the month, is gonna cost you more on your closing cost, but you're gonna get the sense that your first payment is not gonna be next month, but the following next month. So kind of gives you the illusion that you get 2 months free again, nothing is free because you're paying for it, but you feel like you're not going to be making payments for the following 2 months. Now, if you close towards the end of the month, your closing costs are going to be that much lower, but you're going to feel that, well, you have to make that payment next month, if that makes sense. So basically, if you close at the beginning, it's gonna seem like you're not gonna be paying in the next 2 months. If you close towards the end of the month, it's gonna feel like, yeah, you're only gonna be getting 1 month. Again, hopefully I'm not confusing you guys. I'm gonna try to break it down with graphics and all that good stuff. So just keep an eye on that video. All right, so let's move on. We are now on the 4th block, which is the impound fees. Now the impound fees, as you can see here, you have homeowners insurance, followed by property taxes. Property taxes, I would say, depending on what month you're going to be closing on your deal, that number that you see here per month, 4 months, it's going to vary. So you always have these scenarios when you're talking to a client and they'll say, well, my closing costs weren't that high. My brother-in-law or my cousin's closing costs were that much lower. They bought the same house that I'm buying price-wise. Why are my closing costs that much higher? Well, it all depends on what time of the month you close. Not time of the month, what month of the year you close. So in this case, they ended up closing again just this October, so they only got hit with 4 months of property taxes. Now, property taxes, why are they charging those months in advance if you are already going to be paying your property taxes every month? Very good question, and the answer is simple. The banks always want to make sure that they have those reserves in their little bank account stashed in there. So every 6 months, you guys probably don't know this, but every 6 months, property taxes need to be paid. And so the bank wants to make sure that they have enough reserves, as well as them collecting on a monthly basis. So when those 6 months come due, they have enough on their account where they can cover those property taxes every 6 months. Okay. And as well as the homeowners insurance, they just want to make sure that there's plenty of a backup there of a surplus to cover those fees. Okay, and the last one is the miscellaneous fees, which cover your home warranty. This is very, very, very important. I always tend to suggest to my clients, hey, listen, whenever you're purchasing a home, always take in consideration getting one of these home warranties. There's different tiers that you can get. In this scenario, they ended up purchasing one for $505. And basically, let's say you move in and all of a sudden your AC breaks down. Well, that's what the homeowner's insurance does. Little things like that. Maybe there's a hole in the roof. Again, depending on what kind of tier you get on your homeowner's insurance, it'll cover those things, those emergency things that might come up. Okay, and the last one is title homeowners insurance, which is obviously covered by the seller. And all in all, this client basically had to pay $10,964.93 of closing costs. But here is the kicker. How much did they actually pay of those closing costs? Well, we basically negotiated with the seller to give the buyer a credit of $10,000. And that credit of $10,000 made it so where our buyer only ended up coming in with $414.93 of their closing cost. They still had to come in with their down payment. But if you do the math, it basically came out to $16,969.93. That was their down payment plus their closing cost of $414.93. How was that done? How were we able to pull that out? Well, it was simple. The house was selling for $463,000. Now we know that in this market, and I'm sure every market right now is cooling down, but there's still that cushion where you can try to push the envelope on the appraised value of the property. And so we asked the seller, listen, you're selling the property for $463,000. Can we put an offer for $473,000 and you credit us those $10,000 back for the closing cost of our buyer? And he said, yes, he agreed. Now, mind you, the appraisal, that was the key. If the appraised value wouldn't have come in, there wouldn't have been all that credits. Again, it all depends on the time of the market. Luckily, we were able to get the value. In fact, the value came in at $482,000. We're actually pretty surprised. So the client not only got their closing costs, pretty much almost 95% of them paid, but he walked in with a home already with equity. So he was pretty excited about that. And let's see, did I cover every single one of these items? I did. And what else? What's the takeaway here? Well, the takeaway is that hopefully you kind of got an idea what these fees are, what they cover. If you have any questions on any one of them, please feel free to, reach out down below, put them under the comments section, and we'll be definitely happy to answer any one of them. I try to hit the ones that were heavier on the price, just to kind of give you an overview of what the fees were. Again, if you have any questions regarding any one of these fees, make sure to put them down on the comment section. Both Ingrid and I will be looking at them and answering back to you immediately or as soon as we see them. And lastly, thank you guys. I really do want to thank you. I am super excited. I can only imagine how next year is going to be. Again, we're a small group, but I am positive that within a year we're going to be just, hitting it. I'd like to make one last announcement. As mentioned, YouTube suggested that I tell my audience, my viewers, that every Friday come 8 a.m. you're going to be getting a brand new video. That's that's my promise to you. I'm going to try to keep it. We're going to try to work hard on getting these videos out. Again, we take the time to kind of see what content will be of value to you. If you have any ideas on what we could put together for you guys, questions that you might have, definitely shoot us a text, send us an email, or just comment down below, and we'll definitely take that into consideration. Again, thank you one more time. I can't wait next year. I know we're gonna be a huge community, and it's all gonna be thanks to you guys. Thank you again for watching this video. If you know anyone that can benefit, please share it. And as always, make it a great day. Enjoy the weekend, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Thank you. Take care. Oh, wait, and the bell. Don't forget to subscribe. Take care. Bye-bye.